and welcome here to TalkFCB, and welcome back to the channel here today, guys, where we do have a number of pressing topics when it comes to Barca right now. We are going to be discussing today Marcus Rashford and the current situation and the talk surrounding him, Barca and Manchester United. We're also going to be giving an update on Pedri, a very encouraging one there with regards to his current injury, and we do need some debate and sort of conversation about Frankie de Jong right now. What is happening with him, looking at the form, looking at the way that we're playing really in midfield. There's a lot that needs to be covered, so it's all coming up for you. Thank you indeed for joining me. Now let's do this. Now I do hope that you have all been having a very good week, enjoying watching Barca in the Champions League playoff round. Oh wait, no, we're not there, are we? We're already through to the next round. I'm not really sure if we can be making jokes right now, guys, but we're going to do it anyway. Never stop laughing, even when you do actually feel like crying, which is what we've all felt like doing after the past two results of Barca. But okay, moving on from all of that right now, let's move on to talk about Marcus Rashford, what is happening with him, because obviously he's missed the last two games at Barca, the two defeats that we've had with injury there. It was nothing major, it was a very small issue, and he was on a nice little run before that injury there. He was contributing from the start of games, he was contributing as well coming off the bench, and it also coincided when Rafinha was having a few problems as well. So Rashford there has been a valuable addition to the squad. He has been helping the team, and I think it's interesting to see this week in the media in the UK, lots of talk about Man United, lots of talk about their summer transfer plans, and apparently they are fuming with the Rashford deal. Right now, they are looking back at the loan deal that they did with Barca, whereby we got him on loan for the season, no obligation, we don't have to do anything, but there is an option in the deal for just £26 million. And apparently Man United right now, every time they think about that, inside of the club, they are angry that they sanctioned that potential deal. If they could go back and do that again, they would set that price much higher. So it's very possible here that heading into the summer, Barca are going to have an opportunity. Obviously £26 million, it's not cheap for Barca at the end of the day. Man United might want more, but we're not blessed with money. We're not blessed with the ability to sign loads and loads of players right here. And I think the issue with Rashford right now for me would be, as much as it is probably a good deal, at the end of the day, in modern football, you're not really going to get that amount of quality. You're not going to get that kind of player for that kind of money in today's game. But I guess with regards to the summer, it all depends what we're in the position to do. Because as we spoke about in the last video, we need strengthening. Particularly there in the defensive areas of this team. We need players, we need quality, we need depth. And I guess I just don't want to see us go into the summer and think, oh, well, our signing, it's going to be Rashford. Basically somebody who's already been here anyway. It wouldn't be something new. It wouldn't be something there that we didn't have this season. I don't want our only, quality big addition to be a player that we've already experienced here. We do need something different in the summer. We do need to strengthen different areas. I'd like to see Rashford stay. I would like to see him continue. I think it is a good deal for the club. But I hope that we can do more. I hope that we're going to be able to look at different areas, particularly in defence. The team is screaming out for that right now, and it has to be a priority. But in terms of some of those injuries that we have been facing recently, certainly there with Rashford, good news this morning. He has returned there to train with the group. So ahead of the game against Levante on Sunday, he is looking good right now. It looks as though he is going to be ready to return, and that will be important there. Adding everybody right now that's available to us, that is what we need. Flick needs options, Flick needs depth in his squad, and Rashford should be all okay for the weekend. But let's move on to somebody, even more influential. One of the most important players, not only on the Barca team, but in the world of football. We need to see Pedri back on our screens. And the great news today is he has returned to part of the training with the rest of the group right now. So he only completed part of the session there. It wasn't the whole thing. He's not fully integrated just yet with the rest of the group, but we are in the last stages here. He is not far away from being completely cleared to return to action. And that might happen on Sunday there if we're pushing it, if we can make some late strides here ahead of that game. We've still got a few more days until the weekend, but it is looking really good with Pedri here. He's in those latter stages, and we need him back. I've missed him so much, and not only in terms of the team, like I say, yeah, Barca have missed him, you can clearly see that. Certainly at the beginning of our time without Pedri, he's been out now for 7 games in total. It was looking okay, we had some favourable games, fixtures whereby you could get by without him, you could get through the game without Pedri, you didn't need that control, that poise in midfield, but I think recently, it's been a glaring hole in our team. You're looking at the midfield area, and that's what we're going to go on to talk about now in a minute with Frankie de Jong. You need to do something more in there, and with Pedri coming back soon, it's going to massively help everybody. It is going to help Frankie, as we're going to talk about, and it's going to help the whole team. Pedri runs things. He is the hub of this Barca team under Hansi Flick, and I cannot wait to see him back. Which does indeed then bring us on to Frankie de Jong right now. And not just about him, it's about the whole of midfield. We're going to be talking about Barca's issues, about where things are going wrong right now. Because firstly, can I just say, a lot is made of the defence at Barca. A lot is made there of the high line. And it's always a thing that, pundits will look at straight away. If Barca are under pressure, if Barca are conceding chances, you will hear, oh, well, it's the high line. The high line is terrible. It's on the halfway line. There's so many chances there. The defence at Barca, they're not good enough. They're not doing enough. But what I would also like to pay a lot of attention here to is the midfield at Barca. Because in my opinion, the defence is a concern. The high line certainly can be breached, but the midfield is also a massive worry. When you look at the last few games there, the games against Atleti, the one as well against Girona, the midfield, it's not just about them playing poorly. At times, it's non-existent there. You see teams who come up against us, they almost bypass the Barca midfield. There's attack, there's players pressing there in the offensive areas, but in terms of that midfield, it's so easy to play through. And of course, what that does mean then is that your defence has virtually no protection. So we've got a dangerous high line, we've got a back four that are not really confident right now, not really locked into the ideas of the team. And then you've got nothing in front of them, nothing there to help protect them from the non-stop dangerous opportunities that are coming their way. So let's move on to talk then about Frankie de Jong, because obviously with Frankie what you have here is a very, very experienced player. He's the captain of the club, one of the big captains, one of the big leaders in the dressing room. So you would expect him in this situation, he needs to lock that midfield down. He needs to be the man there that you can rely on, that you can certainly build your team around in midfield. He's a high-profile name. He's seen it all. He's done it all. You expect a lot from him, which is why when things like this happen, like the game against Atleti, like the game against Girona, one of the first players to be criticised, it's going to be Frankie de Jong because of his profile, because of his salary, because all of these different things, they play their parts. Now, what I would say right now is, I understand the criticism of Frankie, and certainly I've criticised him in the past. I think there's certain areas of this game which have not really lived up to the expectations. But right now, I don't know what you expect from him. I don't know what you expect from him when you've got here Fermin and Olmo in that midfield together. Because what we're seeing right now with Hansi Flick's Barca without Pedri, it's just all-out attack. There's no midfield. Like I say, we're just bypassing it. We're not even really bothering with the midfield elements. You've got Fermin, you've got Olmo, they're pushing high, they're pushing up. Frankie is on his own. I mean, realistically, he is never, ever going to stand up to that. He is not a player who's going to run that midfield on his own. He is always, throughout his entire career, he needs a partner. If you leave him isolated, if you leave him with a lot of space around him, he will get exploited time and time and time again. And that is why somebody like Pedri, he's been essential for Frankie de Jong. And that is why they're very different players. I think Frankie is a very, very good player. I think he has the potential, he has the quality to be world class. But he's not in the same category for me as Pedri. Because Pedri, in certain situations, he doesn't need anybody. He does not need anybody to hold his hand. He doesn't need anybody to support him, give him the ball. He can control a game. He can run things there on his own. Frankie needs a partner. So that is why, over the past few games, I understand the criticism, but at the end of the day, I don't know what we're expecting. Frankie is not going to be that player defensively who could hold your team together. If you leave him alone, you are going to suffer. But that is why, when you bring Pedri back into the fold, he is completely transformed. I mean, we've spoken a lot under Hansi Flick here about Frankie being such an impressive player, really, really dominating at times in that midfield when alongside of Pedri. So I do think we're going to see Barca's midfield improve. I think it's going to be a lot more balanced, it's going to be a lot more dynamic, but at the same time controlled when Pedri comes back. I think recently we've been going too gung-ho in that area. We've been throwing the kitchen sink, like I keep saying, at our opponents. But at times you do just need to take that step back. You do need to just, okay, let's calm things down, let's get control of the ball, let's play the game on our own terms, and let's stop it becoming almost like a basketball game, end to end, one end to the other. That doesn't really suit Barca. That's not really helped us over the past few games. So, guys, let me know in the comments down below, what have you made of Frankie's performances? Can you blame him recently for what we've been seeing at Barca? And how do you think our team will improve? How will it sort of transform once we get Pedri back in there? I cannot wait for that, guys. So looking forward to the weekend, hoping this time to see a response from Barca, but let's see what is going to happen. Thank you indeed, guys, to all of you here for joining me today. Plenty more videos on the way for you. Excited to get back now regularly on the channel. But until next time, as always, Veshka, El Barca.